that was an interesting thing you put in the letter this time, risk factors that you normally don't lay out. One of the risks that you laid out was an issue like how driverless cars could have an adverse impact on both Geico and on your auto companies. You think through how you get around that, but if driverless cars are driving everybody around, what would you do? How do you evolve in a situation
the only
like
way
that?
they'll be driving everybody around if they're regarded as a lot safer, and we'll find that out as we go along. But
there have been faster advances in this than I would have expected a few years ago.
Yeah, I would say that, but I would also say, if you asked me to take the over or under on 2030, what percent of the cars on the road in the United States are driverless, I would take the under on 10%. But I may be wrong. There's a longbets.com you can go to on the internet, and you can make a bet on something like that, as I did on the hedge fund bet. But I would take under 10%, but I may be wrong. And there's no question, if you have 50% driverless cars or 75% driverless cars, the auto premium volume would be very likely be far less, and probably the dealership arrangements in the United States would be changed in some way that's hard to predict.
I understand the Geico issue and the Geico threat that comes with that. The dealerships, I mean, people would still need cars. No?
Well, I think, well, we'll see, but maybe. But driverless cars would seem to me to be appealing on things much more than style and that sort of thing. I think that it would become a more homogeneous product. I may be wrong, but that's my impression.
I have a couple of quotes that I wanted to run by you. Someone tweeted, "Don't take vacations, what's the point? If you're not enjoying your work, you're in the wrong job." It sounded a little like something you might say, but it was something that Donald Trump tweeted.
Oh, well, then I don't know whether he feels he's in the wrong job now, and that's why he's looking for something else. I absolutely advise students. I had students last week, 160 of them from Harvard and South Dakota State. I just tell them, try to find your passion. And, I mean, may not find it the first time, but don't sleepwalk through life. Find something that you really enjoy doing if you can do it. And not everybody's lucky enough to be able to find that, but it ought to be your goal. To make $10 a week more doing something that you don't feel good about compared to something you'd feel good about, make the change.
You said you watched Bill Gates on Charlie Rose last week, and I did too. Bill said something that I thought was really interesting. He said, the thing you do obsessively between age 13 and 18, that's the thing you have the most chance of being world class at.
Yeah.
Bill said his one thing was coding. What was your one obsessive thing?
I was pretty interested in investments. No, Bill and I, his father, many years ago, right after we met, had us a group of about 20 write down on a sheet of paper one word that they thought accounted for their success. And Bill and I, who may have only met twice, didn't know what the other one was writing down. We both wrote down the same word, which was focus. And he was focused on software, I was focused on investments. And it gave me a big advantage to start very young. There's no question about it.
Well, Warren, I want to thank you for your time today. We really appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.